All right. Well, today, this guy looking right here in front of you is basement ball pythons. Why don't you tell us about yourself a little bit?
Well, hello, good evening. Thanks for everyone being here. My name's Jason. I've been keeping and breeding for about 5 years. I got into ball pythons because my wife came home one day with one instead of groceries. Uh, Never had a problem with snakes my whole life, but after she brought the one home, I got uh, what's the word? Uh, Engulfed into this whole hobby after the one, and then started massive racks and breeding and stuff like that, and jumped right in, researched a lot, and bought a lot of stuff. And then this is what I would like to do this after I retire. I'm active duty military, and I retire in a little over 2 years. So this is what I'd like to do full time once I retire.
That was cool. So we got Reptiler. You're out of
Tennessee.
Tennessee,
hmm
and you breed reptiles, and so tell us a little bit about yourself.
My name's Bobby Tyler. Uh, Started keeping ball pythons in 2018. A few months later, decided to start breeding. Kind of got into it because my brother-in-law brought home a ball python from pet store. Kind of got interested in the genetics of it, and you know, almost 4 years later, all of this. That's about it.
Well, sweet. And next we have Yami in here with us. What's going on, Yami? He can't speak. All right. Well, and I'm Don. Like I said, I'm with Parker about pythons. I've always been into snakes my whole entire life, and I've always had a snake. And then one time I got rid of a boa, and I had this boa for 9 years, and I just couldn't live without the snake. Without a snake, my daughter was getting older, and she was hands on and not afraid of anything, and I just didn't feel safe with her being able to open up latches. So I decided to rehome the boa, and then about a month went by, and I'm like twitching because I haven't had a snake in my hand. And I didn't even know about ball python morphs. And somebody told me about morph market. I looked on there and I was like, what? I had ball pythons my whole entire life and I didn't even see anything like this before. And yeah, so I bought one, and then very shortly after that I had 15, and then very shortly after that I had 30. And
I've been through this before, okay?
so it's blossomed into this, and I just like doing it. Helps keep my mind grounded and something to focus on. But so everybody is always wondering what the term het means, or heterozygous or homozygous actually means. Basement, why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, so yep, I get a lot of questions about this too when people look up ball pythons and then they start researching and finding, and then they contact you wanting to know what those terms mean, right? So we use them a lot, and you'll see a lot of stuff that say het and whatnot. Homozygous, that kind of term falls onto the wayside, but really homozygous means, to make it simple, two copies of the same gene in one animal, right? That's where your super definition is going to come from. Or like the visual clown, things like that, that is carrying two copies of that gene. Heterozygous, meaning I carry one copy of it, whether or not it's recessive and you can see it, or something like Mojave, where its heterozygous form is a visual form. Its homozygous form would be the blue-eyed leucistic. Pretty simple terms that we're probably going to be using those terms later on tonight too, even more with some of the questions. But that's pretty much in a nutshell, simply put. If anyone else would like to jump in on that, they have a better way of saying it.
Right. Well, yeah, it's basically what it means, and but there's also different um categories. So, could you guys talk about the dominant gene? Can you guys Reptiler, can you give us an example?
Incomplete dominant genes would be most of the ball python genes, your Mojave, your banana, your anything that only requires the heterozygous form to be visual.
Sweet. And
Well, then, like you were saying, with dominant genes, just a dominant itself would be something that can't make a super on its own. It's just everything that it breeds is going to be 50%. And if you breed two of them together, you're not going to get that visual super form, such as, and I know there's a little bit going back and forth, but like pinstripe. It was categorized before as a dominant, now is categorized as an incomplete dominant, and it can make a super pinstripe, but it's not a visual super. All of its babies you can't make it look different in the super form.
Okay, that's a great example. And you'll also hear like incomplete dominant genes as well. Could you like tell us a little bit about an incomplete dominant gene?
Sure. Incomplete dominants are ones that can form the super form, such as yellow belly, one of my favorite genes to use. Yellow belly in itself kind of looks a little bit like a normal, but there's different ways to tell. But when you pair a yellow belly to a yellow belly, 25% of the time you're going to get an ivory, which is the super form of a yellow belly. And that's going to be an all white snake, which every time, and in the super form of those animals, they will produce all yellow bellies.
All right, Reptiler, what does the term super mean exactly?
Super, it has to be it has to be homozygous. Has to be homozygous for whatever gene it's carrying. It has two copies of that gene.
Two copies of that gene.
And when bred, everything will be heterozygous for that gene.
Right. So that kind of goes into how recessive genes work as well. You need to have two copies of one gene to get a visual effect. Can one of you guys explain the difference between a recessive and a super?
The key difference is whether it's visual or not. Both have homozygous and heterozygous forms. Recessives are only visual in the homozygous form when there's two copies.
Right. But say you breed like a yellow belly to a yellow belly, and that's kind of that's a different way it works. Basement, can you clarify the term allelic?
Allelic, yeah. So the term allelic is two genes that work together in a complex that when put together, you can't make anything besides one of those two animals.
Right.
They can't also give their genes off together. So if you buy something like a freeway, right? Everyone like freeways and highways. Most people know what those terms are. You are going to only make, unless you breed it with another freeway or highway, when you breed that to another animal to try to get some more genes in it, you're only going to get either yellow belly or gravel from that. And they only work in complexes together and require each other. Like, so you have to be bred with each other to make that visual. Like if, yellow belly or gravel itself are kind of like whatever. But as soon as you put them together, that 25% chance of pairing is going to get you that freeway or highway.
That is cool. So like the allelic, it just interacts with the genes differently. So would you say that it's kind of like producing a super out of two different genes?
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, except for when it's bred, it gives off one or the other.
Nice. That is pretty interesting how that works. So there's different like classes that these genes in different ways they work together. And some examples of allelic genes and complexes is like the spark inspector or the super
Yeah, I know. I got to turn around too half the time to go look at what I'm trying to.
I'm trying to like, well, like the super stripe. Somebody tell me what the super stripe is. Reptiler.
It's a yellow belly and a specter.
Right.
I thought he said I was going to tell you. I thought he said like I'm going to tell you what the super stripe is. Okay.
Two genes from the same allelic complex, yellow belly and specter,
Right.
super stripe.
Right, and then like
Do you
the
have
puma is the yellow belly and the spark, and that makes the puma. But basically, a yellow belly to a yellow belly would be an allelic gene because of how they work.
Yellow belly to a yellow
would be a super yellow belly and ivory.
Yep, but it wouldn't be. That's not an allelic. You can't be allelic with yourself. You have to be an allelic with another animal,
right?
With another gene.
Allele implies that there is a difference in the genes. An allele is just a variation of the same gene.
Correct.
So if it's the same gene, it can't be allelic to itself.
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a basic rundown. We'll try to break this up and put it out as TikTok videos so that people can have like a source to come out to. So if we did kind of run through these terms kind of fast, you'll definitely be able to break them down, or we will definitely get them broken down for you to explain these in the best ways possible. So what's weird about the banana / coral glow gene, everybody loves a banana and everybody kind of flocks to a banana as they're getting into ball pythons. They offer a sex link gene. So like you can have male makers or males that only make males and males and females that can make females. Basement, could you explain to like some of these people who are wondering about the banana gene since it is so popular, how that actually works?
Yeah. So banana gene is banana and coral glow are both sex-linked genes. So what happens is a female can produce either one. They can produce either males or females. Males, however, are the ones who will be the producers of that gender, and it all depends on where they come from. If it is a male sired banana clutch, which meaning that you have a male who sired the clutch to a female, that is going to be a male maker because it's where it came from, unless that banana itself came from a female. That's why knowing where your animals come from is very important. So, for an example, I actually have some female bananas. So one of them, right? So this being a female banana paired to not another banana, she is going to give me any males that come from her are going to be female makers because that's where they came from. Now, I also have other bananas that are male makers that came from a male sired clutch that will make male bananas. Why it happens, we have no idea, but it is a linked gene like that.
That was weird, but I'm sure Reptiler before has hashed out a banana and a female came out.
Yeah, I've had several female bananas, but they've always been from either female maker or a female or a super banana.
Right.
It's the rare occurrence where you do get a female from a male maker. Yeah. I haven't been that lucky.
And that's like the 99 0.9% chance that something didn't go right on that one.
Yeah, last season I had probably 24 bananas that I produced, and I was able to get one out of 23 bananas, and then a friend of mine brought a clutch over so I could hatch it for her while she's moving, and ended up hatching out like 6 more out of her clutch, and one of them was a female too. And this is the first year I've ever like produced bananas before, and so it's pretty cool. I got 2 of them sitting here. I'm thinking I'm gonna, when she comes to get her babies, to take them back to her new house. Well, that female might have to stay here for sure. So I'll have two of them.
Here's a good question. It says here, what if both sire and dam are banana? What if it's a super banana?
A super banana would produce male and female, right?
Yeah.
Correct. There is that. That's the wash right there. That's that one, and the females are the only way that you're going to get that female banana unless you produce a male maker or a female maker banana.
Right.
And some are more, and that's the one part. Some are more desirable than others, depending on your project. That's people are like, oh, I want a male maker, I want a female maker. Well, it does. I mean, it depends on how it fits in your project is what makes it, the one that you're going to want.
Right.
So don't think you produce something, someone is going to want that for their, if you produce a male maker, that's easy to sell that one because I want to make something that has, he will be up to breeding in about a year. He'll be ready to go, and he'll make you some more male bananas depending on what he came from for your project.
Right. So there's so many genes, like even on Youdoyoureptiles Discord, everybody's throwing around genes all the time. Where would you guys where do you guys both go? Tyler, where do you go? Where would your run to morph list location be? If you're trying to look at a list of all the ball pythons put together, where would be the best place to go?
Morph Market.
And yeah, pretty much.
Just to follow here real fast. I'm sorry, we got another question down here. It says, no, not a super. What if the sire and dam are both single gene bananas and you get, let's say, a 2 to 3 sex ratio? How many will be male and female makers? Well, again, knowing where your animals come from is going to be, so it all depends on who sired that banana, the odds of what comes out. So did it get it from the mom or the dad? That's why it's not really, people don't really like to breed banana to banana a lot. And it can be very confusing unless you make that super, then you're like, okay, all bets are off. But if I make a male from those, did it come from my male maker? Did it come from my female? So that's a guessing game right there.
Right.
Anyways, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's all good. All right, so everybody throws around the term dinker. Any of you guys have dinker projects?
I do. I have one. And basically what the dinker project is something that you have no idea what it is or trying to prove it out. My one came to me through some people actually in TikTok. We purchased it together. And basically it is just an animal that we have no idea what it is. So this is an African import, female. And we're going to breed it and try to figure out what it is. Hypo something would be my guess, but dinker project is something that you're trying to figure out. There's no specific thing that makes it a dinker besides you yourself.
So, Rep Tyler, is there any specific genes out there that you would not purchase to add to your collection?
That's pretty subjective. It's all personal taste. I don't like champagne, so that would be one that I wouldn't pick.
I also do not like champagne.
Champagne's also in the spider complex, so there's also that neurological component.
Right.
Yep.
Well,
but do you like blackhead?
Sure.
But that's also in that spider complex.
It is.
So yeah, so like you said, it's just all about what your preferences are.
I just don't like the way champagne looks or how it interacts with other genetics.
Nice. Basement, how do you pick ball pythons for your projects?
Depends on the end result. What do I want to make? What do I see out there that looks good? I'm heavily into recessives. just because of the longevity of the projects. There is a lot to be done with it, and it takes a long time to do it. So anyone, and I say use these terms, anyone can, breed a Mojave to, a pinstripe and make the, a Mojave pinstripe within the first year. But trying to make double, triple recessive, that is going to be a 6, 8, 10, 12-year project, depending on how many animals and where you're at on it. So just waiting down the road for that is what keeps me excited.
Nice. Well, so basically that's just a rundown of just the beginning. Like I said, we're gonna break this down and we'll put it on TikTok so you guys can go to different videos individually. But I say, what are your goals, Reptiler, for as far as what kind of projects you can see everybody getting into that you're doing coming this season in 2023?
This season's not going to be terribly exciting for me. I'm going to be making a lot of hets. I'm way behind where I should be because, like everyone else, I started going for all these codon projects early on, and because they were easy, and but working a lot of recessives into some other codoms this year. Not going to be terribly exciting until 3 years down the road, hopefully.
Right.
Trying to work clown, desert ghost, exanthic, and pied into a lot of other stuff.
Right. So yeah, this year I'm just gonna be um kind of producing eggs to have stuff to sell at shows and to have stuff help go towards the main function of the room to make it run a little slower and get rid of some of these homemade racks that I have. So that will kind of be my goal as far as trying to get things done this season. Basement, do you have um different projects you think you want to release to the public going on in 2023?
No, nothing will be released just besides anything that I already have that's visual. This year is the year of the triple hets for me, and I'm making a lot of triple het Desert Ghost, Clown Pied, Ultramel Clown Pied. And then this will be the year, hopefully, I can get a visual Desert Ghost Clown.
Nice. How many clutches do you think you're going to produce this year?
I'm hoping for around 18. I should have 18 to 20 clutches this year.
That is pretty cool. Reptiler, how many you got coming?
I'm doing 24 or 25 pairings. I'm aiming for about the same number, hopefully.
Yep, same thing. You just assume 10% aren't gonna 10% are gonna go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I have I have 20 pairs going, or 20 females that I can get going, and I'm hoping out of 20 at least I get 10 of those if it goes anything like last year. So because I had to move in the middle of my breeding season and things got a little hampered. Reptiler, what's the most expensive animal in your collection?
GCR exanthic pied.
Oh man,
Ooh.
those things are awesome. Basement, how many do you, or what is your most expensive animal?
Mine's gonna be a toss up between two pastel clown pied and a orange dream blackhead cypress enchi or cantaloupe female.
Nice.
How yours?
Mine is probably my banana enchi EMG clown. I produced it myself. It was my first main focus project, and I've been working basically my collection based on that project. And she came in right around the time I had a few other females collected up. And the first egg I caught in 2023 was the banana enchi EMG clown. Supposedly, I'm the only one that has it, but I claim that, but I just haven't seen it anywhere else before. So, and it is a little whacked out compared to your normal banana enchi clown. Um, So either of you, what's your secret projects? You got to give us something.
No,
I don't have any secrets.
No secrets.
do
That's
it.
what
I'm
they
not
all
giving
say.
it
That's
up.
what they all say.
They're up here. They're right there, without the tags, just in case.
So, where do you see your future, say, going in 3 years, Reptile Ball Python? What's the direction you feel like you're gonna be able to advance to?
Projects that are double and triple recessive, hopefully.
Right. That's all. That's been. That's what I was thinking. This year too, as far as 2023 goes, is making sure that I can produce more of what I need, and instead of egg count, just to keep raising my own snakes for future projects. What about you, Basement? Where do you see yourself in 3 years?
Hopefully, in 3 years, we're pairing and making the triples and quads. Is where I'd really like to be.
Right. So I've been thinking about that a lot more here recently because I don't have very many recessive snakes. I think I kind of went into it guns blazing and purchased better snakes earlier on. But
Yeah,
that's a big thing that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to I'm thinking about becoming a breeder. I'm thinking about doing this. A lot of people think that it's you just buy snakes, buy, and then one day you're gonna produce eggs. But is there like a smarter way to get into it with a bigger kickback just to help people understand that it is a way of feeding your own animals and being able to just be in the industry with everybody and create that community that works for your brand and who you're trying to reach out to?
there is. Do you, Reptile, do you want to try, or do you want me to go at this with my opinion?
You go ahead.
Okay. So the first thing would obviously, if you want to start breeding, you got to pick the projects that you want to work. Obviously, like I said before, since the recessive projects are so time consuming, that's why they bring in more money, and we all want to support ourselves in our hobby. Not going out and buying the cheap $100 animals is what's going to get you, is, saving that money and deciding what projects, what can you think you can handle, and then start small. Don't try to go out there and do 30 clutches in 1 year, because it can be very time consuming. Taking care of all of those animals, the feeding, and then taking care of the hatchlings too. Those are even more demanding than your adult snakes. So first part would be ready. If you want to start small, maybe buy 10 animals, and then go from there. Make sure you want to center, say, those 10 animals, center that around one main male. We'll get one really good, like just high dollar, and he can go to all of them. And then have a way to feed your animals. I breed my own rats. It is time consuming, and I hate it because they take more time from me than they take more time than my snakes do from me, but they also feed my snakes. So
Right.
Have a way to be able to have enough rats. That's all I could say.
Reptile, you want to add to that?
I don't really have anything to add to that. That's all really good advice.
Yeah.
Have a budget.
Yes.
Because it can go downhill real fast on morph market.
Yeah. And I think the biggest thing for me is always just be patient about it and try not to dive headfirst into too much at one time. But at the same time, just try to recognize that you're in it for the reptiles and you want to make sure that they're all taken care of and everybody is like got a good knowledge base on how to take care of their reptiles and just be able to keep in general.
What's a budget? Jeff says, what's a budget? Exactly.
But yeah, so I feel that kind of sums up what it's just like to get into it, the things you're going to be thinking about with the recessive genes and the dominant genes, the co-dominant genes, and how they work. There's a lot more to it as well, and you basically want to have a focused approach rather than a scattered, all-out idea that everything's just gonna work out perfectly. There's a rhyme and a reason why you get to where you need to be going. But I think we are gonna call it for tonight, and yeah, let us know how we did. We were putting these video. We will try to get as much of this footage up on TikTok as possible, and I guess we're gonna hang out in Discord tonight. And if anybody has any questions, you're gonna feel free to get a hold of us, just like you guys always do. Message us, and we'll answer anything you need. But other than that, thank you, Reptiler, for hanging out. Thank you, baseball or basement ball python.
Baseballs.
Baseball.
Yes, thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it.
And
we'll get better at this too. We'll get better at this too, of not being so whatever. The more we do it and talk to each other in front of an audience, maybe we can get some different hair colors out of Punk.
Yeah, maybe. But I really do like the green a whole lot. So. All right, thanks, guys. Take it easy.